Modern Warfare 2's first season is rolling around, and to keep us going through the weekend, today I want to discuss a little bit about the weaponry on offer. We have 4 weapons as detailed coming throughout the season, so I want to take a look at that with you and what we'll have on offer and how we can perhaps expect them to perform by comparison to other weapons. So as we go along, drop your thoughts below. What are you looking forward to the most in terms of the weaponry department? Anyone that you really want to get your hands on? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoy the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2 coverage, as well as Warzone 2 and DMZ soon. We're chasing down 600,000 subscribers, so if you're a part of that 70% of viewers who are not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, this video is brought to you in part by my friends at ApexGamingPCs, but more on them in a bit. For now, let's take a look at these weapons that you can expect to see with Season 1. So, Season 1 is no different in distribution than other seasons the past 3 years. We'll have weapons distributed throughout the Battle Pass and then throughout the season as well. The only difference is the Battle Pass is formatted a bit differently this year. Instead of a linear 1 to 100 progression, we'll be unlocking tier skips or like unlock tokens that we can use in unlocking sectors of a pass, themed around maps in Modern Warfare 2. The official Battle Pass blog breaking all this down is likely to come out on Monday or Tuesday, so right now we only have general details, not specifics, but this will presumably allow you to unlock both weapons if you'd like to before the normal time frame of time put in to get to tier 31 of the pass systems, especially if you have the Vault Edition where you have 50 unlocks right up front. But to start, we'll see 2 weapons in the Battle Pass, the Victus XMR and the BAS-P SMG. So let's start out with the Victus XMR, the sniper rifle, part of the Imperatorium platform. This is going to be something that is coming at launch again in that Battle Pass. It's described as a hard-hitting bolt-action sniper rifle with 50 cal BMG ammunition. Its tungsten sabot-tipped bullets are fast and powerful, but require precise shots over long distances. So this is something that, if I'm guessing, is going to be comparable to like the Signal 50, something that packs a punch. It's got some decent damage behind it. The bullet velocity's up there, but it's going to be something that's a bit slower in terms of mobility and maybe that fire rate and the rechamber speed. But definitely looking forward to a bolt-action rifle up on deck here, and of course something that adds to that sniper platform. Then the BAS-P SMG. This is part of the Bruin Ops platform. This is something that's described as having an aggressive fire rate and modular frame, making the BAS-P perfect for the discerning operator who wants to customize their submachine gun. Subsonic ammo hides kill skulls from the enemy team, so that gives us a little bit of an indication as to one of the ammo types we can use on deck here with this, but it's going to be something that looks to be more mobile, something close quarters engagement heavy, and from the looks of it, kind of reminds me of that Fang 45 from Modern Warfare Remastered, and perhaps it performs the same, but if you guys remember, that was a fun weapon to run around with and could absolutely shred through enemies close quarters, but that's going to be your second weapon in that Battle Pass. Now, I say in your Battle Pass because at launch, there is another weapon that is indeed coming, that being the M13B Assault Rifle. This, also a part of that Bruin Ops platform, but it's described as being unlockable via a store bundle or a weapon unlock challenge. Now, right now, we don't quite know how this is going to work out in that exact regard, whether it's a weapon challenge like we've seen in the past, or if it's going to be something that is tethered to the challenge of ranking up that BAS-P, because it is a part of that same weapon platform. So that very well could be something where you get to level 15 or so of the BAS-P and you unlock the receiver for the M13B. That could be the case, or we could see it actually in a true traditional multiplayer weapon challenge, but again, that store bundle also giving immediate access as well. This is described as a weapon with a short stroke piston system that allows for higher rate of fire and low recoil. If you look at it, if you've played Modern Warfare 2019, very much so comparable to the M13, so I'd expect it to perform almost identically. Very low recoil, high rate of fire, but maybe in terms of ammunition and damage, not packing as much a punch as other rifles out there. If it's anything like Modern Warfare 2019, you're going to want to aim higher in terms of chest and head to take advantage of those multipliers, and that'll be where the weapon really thrives. The final weapon up on deck is the Chimera, listed as coming in mid-season, but it has an integrated suppressor with a slow, high-energy 300 BLK round magazine by default, and it's used for close quarters combat with subsonic ammo, having the ability to hide enemy skulls as well. Now, if this looks familiar, it should be that comparable Honey Badger to what we saw within Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, this will be an interesting one here, and again, with the Bruin Ops platform, I'm very interested to see what happens with this, whether it's a true weapon unlock challenge, or if it does continue on that weapon platform system and allows us to unlock it just naturally by ranking up the other weapons, so that if this is in the mid-season update, it is something that maybe you rank up that BAS-P, maybe you rank up that M13B, and therefore by default, maybe you have that Chimera unlocked by default once you end up having those weapons completely ranked up by the mid-season update. possible, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the funny thing is with all of these, if you've seen these before or heard the talk of these, well, you're not crazy because they actually were in the game and visible, just not in the launch build of the game. For those of you guys that played the campaign early access, you had that week head start to play that and get it out of the way before the full launch of the game. You may have been able to enter the back end of the game in the create a class system offline, where we ended up seeing all 4 of these weapons actually available in that create a class. That's something that those did not come at launch, but it was an indication as to what was upcoming with season 1. As we've talked about a couple of times here, usually Call of Duty development is about like 2 seasons ahead of schedule. So with season 1 only being less than 3 weeks after the launch of the game, it was something that would be in that same base version of the game as well, just with a time-gated release of season 1. So beyond that, we've got a few more things that I want to touch on, but before we continue, thanks again to Apex Gaming PCs for sponsoring this video. If you're in the market for a new system and PC build, check the link below. Apex is a quality build company focusing on custom tailored performance. From either the pre-built in stock to things that you could fully customize in your own builds, you'll find any level of system you're looking for. From a basic workflow PC to an overkill rig like a 13th gen Intel paired with a 4090 GPU, they've got you covered. Check the link below for 3 basic builds they put together for the community here, and if you use code ESPRESSO, it can save you an additional $250 off. So again, thanks to Apex for sponsoring this video. Beyond that though, let's talk a little bit about the weapon unlocks and the camos. The one nice thing here about this new system that we have for weapon unlocks is that once you end up unlocking, say, just your optic slot, you can end up using any of the optics that you've unlocked up until that point. That's entirely dependent on how many other weapons you've ranked up and unlocked optic attachments through, but you end up having the ability to use some of these attachments immediately and some decent builds at that. Then as for the weapon camos, one thing that I'm really looking forward to is, of course, the ability to end up having 4 additional camos introduced to the universal selection with each individual weapon that we get across all the seasons upcoming. So each of these will have 4 camo challenges that will lead you to getting gold camo, but all 4 of those, so 16 in total, will be usable on any weapon that you so choose to if you end up completing those weapon challenges across the board. I actually really like that about this camo system this year, but the cool thing in terms of camos, if you are grinding one out, you don't quite like one of the SMGs, one of the ARs, maybe one of the snipers, you can actually use these in place of one of the existing ones at base to count towards your polyatomic and Orion camos. That's something that right now, the base number of weapons we have across each category, that's going to be the total you need across the entire year. So for example, the assault rifle category has 8 weapons right now. You only have to get 8 weapons platinum polyatomic for it to count towards your next tier of camo challenges. So while there will be, by the end of season 1, at least 10 assault rifles pending no additional weapons introduced post mid-season, that's going to be something that you still only need 8 to end up getting gold, and then platinum, then polyatomic for Orion. So you can use this in place of other weapons if nothing really stands out to you amongst the other ones, or you like one of these new weapons better. That's something that I honestly love doing with melee weapons, doing another melee weapon in place of the riot shield, just because those are 1 hits as opposed to the riot shields being 2. So that's something to consider for future times if you're working on that, but just bear that in mind. Now, the final thing that I want to touch on a little further is kind of going back to what we just mentioned. Will there be more weapons on the horizon? I mean, 4 is kind of a basic number that we've seen across the last couple of seasons in regards to DLC for Cold War as well as Vanguard, but at the same time, to have 3 at launch and then 1 mid-season, that seems a bit too top heavy in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is something that we only get 4 weapons and that's all we have, but with a mid-season update or a season 1 reloaded update coming later on down the line in December, I'm wondering if we get an updated roadmap where we may see 1, 2, maybe even 3 more weapons, a new weapon platform introduced for the second half of season 1. Right now, that's entirely speculative, but definitely something to keep an eye out for, something to consider. But for now, that's what we're gonna call it. That is the weapons for season 1 and everything you'd expect to come along with it. So that said, let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to the most here out of season 1's weaponry? Anything in particular you're really looking forward to picking up and adding to your regular arsenal? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. We're getting all things Modern Warfare 2. We'll keep you up to date with everything you need to know. So if you guys would like to join us on the road to 600,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you in the community. For now though, thanks so much for watching. My name is ESPRESSO. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.